Girl games. That is the phrase Kody Brown actually had the audacity to use when describing decades of marriage to Meri and Janelle. Girl games. Let that sink in for a moment. A man who has been documented on national television for over a decade, manipulating, gaslighting, and emotionally neglecting his wives, has the absolute nerve to accuse them of playing games. The irony is so thick you could choke on it. After years of watching Kody Brown shift blame, rewrite history, and position himself as the perpetual victim, viewers finally witnessed what might be his most desperate deflection yet. And folks, it has backfired in spectacular fashion. The accusation came during one of those increasingly uncomfortable moments Sister Wives has become known for, when Kody found himself confronted with the consequences of his own behavior. Rather than engage in any meaningful self-reflection, rather than acknowledge the pain he has caused, Kody reached for the oldest trick in the manipulation playbook. He blamed the women. Sources close to the situation say this was not some off-the-cuff remark. This was Kody doing what Kody does best, turning himself into the victim while painting his wives as the villains of his story. But here is where it gets absolutely delicious. Meri and Janelle were not having it. Not anymore. After decades of walking on eggshells, of being dismissed and diminished, of watching Robyn receive preferential treatment while they were pushed to the margins, these women finally started talking. And what they have revealed is nothing short of devastating for Kody's carefully constructed narrative. The man who accused them of emotional manipulation has been exposed as the master manipulator himself. Fan reactions have been swift and merciless. Social media exploded with viewers pointing out the sheer hypocrisy of Kody's claims. One comment that perfectly summarized the collective response read simply, "The call is coming from inside the house." Another viewer put it more bluntly, saying this man has gaslit 4 women on national television and he wants to talk about girl games. The court of public opinion has rendered its verdict, and Kody Brown has been found guilty of weapons-grade projection. What makes this moment so significant is not just the accusation itself, but what it reveals about Kody's complete inability to accept responsibility for anything. This is a man who has blamed his wives for his absence, blamed his wives for his favoritism, blamed his wives for the family's fracturing, and now blames his wives for allegedly manipulating him. At what point does even the most sympathetic viewer start to notice a pattern? Because the rest of us noticed it years ago. But what Meri and Janelle revealed in their response changes everything we thought we knew about who the real manipulator in this family has been all along. The Brown family, as viewers first came to know it, simply no longer exists. That sprawling polygamous clan that once presented a united front to the world, that once argued they were just like any other family except with more love to share, has splintered into unrecognizable pieces. Of the 4 women who once called Kody husband, only one remains by his side, Robyn, the last wife standing. And the circumstances surrounding that fact have become the subject of intense scrutiny and speculation. Meri, the first wife, the woman who was legally married to Kody before divorcing him on paper so he could adopt Robyn's children, has finally walked away after years of existing in what she described as a non-marriage. Janelle, the practical one who many viewers considered the most level-headed of the group, has also severed ties with the man she spent decades building a life with. And Christine, of course, led the exodus when she announced her departure and refused to look back. 3 women, 3 decades of combined marriage, all gone. What remains is Kody and Robyn in their $1 million Flagstaff home, apparently confused about why the other wives could not just fall in line the way Robyn did. And it was during this period of family dissolution that Kody unleashed his girl games accusation. According to sources, the comment came when Kody was pressed about his behavior toward Meri and Janelle. Rather than acknowledge any wrongdoing, rather than engage with the substance of their complaints, Kody dismissed years of their emotional labor and pain as mere games. Allow me to translate what Kody means by girl games. He is essentially accusing Meri and Janelle of using emotional tactics against him. He is suggesting that their expressions of hurt, their requests for his time and attention, their complaints about unequal treatment were not genuine feelings but calculated manipulation designed to control him. Think about that for a moment. When these women asked to be treated fairly, when they expressed pain at being neglected, Kody heard manipulation. This framing tells you everything you need to know about how Kody views his wives. Their emotions are inconvenient, their needs are burdensome, their requests for basic marital consideration are games. Sources close to the family say Kody has used this dismissive framework for years, categorizing any pushback from his wives as emotional manipulation rather than legitimate grievances. But the wives are no longer staying silent about what they experienced, and their response reveals a shocking pattern that has been hiding in plain sight for years. Meri and Janelle have launched what can only be described as a full-scale counterattack, and their target is not just Kody. They have trained their sights directly on Robyn, accusing her of being being the architect of Kody's transformation from absent patriarch to what they describe as a monster. This is not subtle criticism, this is not diplomatic distancing, this is two women who spent decades in this family finally saying what they believe happened. According to Meri and Janelle, Robyn did not just benefit from favoritism, she actively cultivated it. They claim she systematically enabled and encouraged Kody's worst behaviors rather than holding him accountable the way sister wives are supposed to do. Sources familiar with the situation say both women have been explicit about their belief that Robyn told Kody exactly what he wanted to hear, validated his every complaint about the other wives, and positioned herself as his only true ally against women she portrayed as difficult and demanding. The transformation they describe is stark. Before Robyn entered the family in 2010, Kody was admittedly absent and spread thin, but he at least attempted to maintain relationships with all his wives and children. After Robyn, according to Meri and Janelle, that changed. Kody became increasingly focused on his fourth wife and her children while the original family units withered from neglect. One insider put it this way: Robyn did not steal Kody. She just made it easy for him to abandon everyone else. Specific instances of alleged isolation have been detailed by both women. They point to holidays where Kody chose Robyn's house over rotating visits. They reference major family decisions that Kody discussed with Robyn but not his other wives. They describe a gradual but unmistakable shift in which Robyn's home became headquarters while their homes became occasional obligations. The pattern was so obvious that even viewers who tried to give Robyn the benefit of the doubt could not ignore it. Let us be brutally honest here. What Meri and Janelle are describing is not just favoritism. It is a calculated campaign to consolidate control. Whether Robyn consciously set out to isolate Kody or simply took advantage of his weaknesses is a matter of debate. But the outcome is not debatable. One wife emerged with the husband, the house, and the resources. 3 wives emerged with nothing but stories about how it all went wrong. What particularly galls Meri and Janelle is the role they believe Robyn played in poisoning Kody against them. They claim she would listen sympathetically to their frustrations, agree with their assessments, and then turn around and undermine them directly to Kody. If true, this two-faced approach would explain a lot about why the family dynamics deteriorated so completely. But the manipulation runs even deeper than favoritism, and what happened behind closed doors reveals a systematic destruction of family bonds. The Robyn effect, as fans have come to call it, represents one of the most dramatic transformations ever documented on reality television. What Meri and Janelle describe is not simply a wife gaining favor, it is the complete reordering of family dynamics around a single relationship at the expense of everyone else. The mechanics of how this allegedly happened reveal a masterclass in strategic positioning. According to the wives, Robyn created an us versus them dynamic that slowly but surely separated Kody from his original family. The approach was allegedly subtle at first. Robyn would express sympathy for the other wives publicly, while privately telling Kody that their complaints were unreasonable. She would appear to support family decisions while finding ways to ensure those decisions benefited her household. Sources say she perfected the art of seeming like the peacemaker while actually fanning the flames of division. One of the most damning accusations involves Robyn's alleged habit of agreeing with Meri and Janelle in private conversations and then taking the opposite position when Kody was present. They claim she would validate their feelings about being neglected, acknowledge that Kody's behavior was hurtful, and then turn around and tell Kody that the other wives were being difficult and ungrateful. This kind of strategic positioning, if true, would explain why Kody seemed so convinced that his other wives were the problem. The preferential treatment extended beyond time and attention to tangible resources. Robyn's children received things the other children did not. Her household operated with a larger budget. When the family moved to Flagstaff and everyone was supposed to sacrifice equally, it was Robyn who ended up in the nicest home by far. And when it came time to discuss properties and futures, Robyn's needs somehow always seemed to come first. Then came COVID, and whatever thin pretense of equality remained was shattered completely. The protocols that Kody implemented kept him at Robyn's house almost exclusively. For months on end, the other wives saw little to nothing of their husband, while Robyn had him all to herself. Kody justified this with elaborate explanations about safety and rules, but the other wives could not help noticing that the rules always seemed to benefit Robyn. What makes this particularly infuriating for Meri and Janelle is that they believe Robyn actively encouraged this isolation. Sources say she did not push Kody to maintain relationships with his other families during the pandemic. She did not advocate for for solutions that would have allowed him to see his other children. Instead, she allegedly made it easy for him to stay right where he was, with her. What Robyn allegedly told Kody behind closed doors during this period has now come to light, and the revelations will shock even the most cynical observers of this family. In a twist that absolutely nobody saw coming, Robyn herself has made an accusation that throws everything into chaos. She has claimed that Kody was emotionally unsafe. Let that sink in. The one wife who stayed, the wife who defended Kody through every controversy, the wife who allegedly enabled his worst behaviors, is now positioning herself as a victim too. And the implications of this statement are absolutely staggering. What does emotionally unsafe even mean in this context? By Robyn's own account, she chose to remain with a man she considered emotionally unsafe while his other wives fled. She advocated for this man. She had children with this man. She built her entire life around this man, and now she wants the world to know that he was emotionally unsafe. Either Robyn is finally admitting what everyone else has known for years, or she is executing a calculated pivot to rehabilitate her own image as the Brown family narrative collapses. The timing of this revelation cannot be ignored. Robyn makes this claim precisely when public opinion has turned decisively against her, precisely when Meri and Janelle are accusing her of being Kody's chief enabler. Is it genuine acknowledgement? Is it strategic victimhood? Sources close to the situation are divided. Some believe Robyn has finally opened her eyes to who Kody really is. Others suspect she is simply adapting to survive the public relations disaster that her life has become. Here is the contradiction that keeps fans up at night. If Kody is emotionally unsafe, why is Robyn the only one who stayed? The other wives recognized the danger and left. They prioritize their mental health and their children's well-being over a dysfunctional marriage. Robyn claims to have identified the same problem but made the opposite choice. Either the emotional unsafety was not that unsafe, or Robyn values something about staying more than she values her own well-being. Speculation runs rampant about what Robyn is really doing with this statement. Some believe she is laying groundwork for her own eventual exit, preparing the narrative that she too was a victim, so that she will not face judgment when she finally leaves. Others think she is trying to have it both ways, maintaining her position as favored wife while also claiming victim status so she cannot be blamed for the family's destruction. What nobody expected was for Robyn to throw Kody under the bus, even partially. For years, her role was to validate him unconditionally. For years, she was his defender against the supposedly unreasonable other wives. Now she is admitting he has serious problems? The Robyn apologists must be experiencing whiplash. But there is a complicated history between Meri and Janelle that makes their current united front more complex than it appears on the surface. The alliance between Meri and Janelle against Kody and Robyn would be a lot easier to believe if these two women actually liked each other. The uncomfortable truth is that they did not for most of their marriage. Meri herself has admitted that she genuinely disliked Janelle for years, and the feeling appears to have been mutual. Their current united front is built on the ashes of decades of tension, jealousy, and conflict. Meri has been remarkably candid about her feelings during the early years. She has described feeling threatened when Janelle entered the marriage, resentful of having to share her husband, and genuinely hostile toward her sister wife. This was not just awkward adjustment. This was years of cold shoulders, sharp words, and toxic dynamics. Sources say there were periods when Meri and Janelle could barely be in the same room without tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. The jealousy flowed in both directions. Meri resented Janelle's ease with Kody, her ability to produce children when Meri struggled with fertility. Janelle reportedly resented Meri's position as first wife, her legal marriage to Kody, her perceived status in the family hierarchy. These women were not sister wives in any meaningful sense of the word. They were rivals forced into proximity by a man who wanted to have it all. So how did these two women who spent decades at odds end up presenting a united front against Kody and Robyn? The answer appears to be their shared treatment by the man they both married. When Kody made it clear that neither Meri nor Janelle mattered to him the way Robyn did when both women experienced the same dismissal and neglect, their common enemy turned former rivals into reluctant allies. Whether this alliance is genuine or strategic remains an open question. Some observers believe Meri and Janelle have truly reconciled, that their shared trauma has healed old wounds and created an authentic bond. Others are more skeptical, suggesting this is a marriage of convenience designed to maximize damage to Kody and Robyn rather than genuine friendship. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. What we do know is that both women are now saying remarkably similar things about their experiences in the Brown family. They are both accusing Robyn of manipulation. They are both calling out Kody's deflection and blame shifting. They are both rejecting the girl games narrative and replacing it with their own version of events. Coincidence or coordination? Genuine alignment or strategic messaging. Kody noticed this shift in his former wives, and sources say his reaction was telling. He apparently views their alliance as proof of his original accusation, evidence that they are teaming up to play games against him rather than legitimate shared grievance. What Kody Brown has perfected over 16 seasons of Sister Wives is the art of never being responsible for anything. Every problem, every conflict, every family disaster can be traced back to someone else's failures. Usually the women. Always the women. His girl games accusation is not an isolated incident. It is the latest example in a documented pattern of blame shifting that stretches back to the very first episodes of this show. Consider the evidence viewers have witnessed with their own eyes. When Christine complained about not feeling loved, Kody blamed her for having unrealistic expectations. When Meri sought connection after her catfishing scandal, Kody blamed her for betraying his trust while ignoring years of his own neglect. When Janelle wanted him to maintain relationships with his children, Kody blamed the kids for not respecting him properly. Sensing a theme here? Because the rest of us certainly are. The gaslighting has been so consistent that viewers have compiled highlight reels of Kody's greatest hits in deflection. There is the time he blamed Christine for the family not integrating properly into one home, the time he blamed Meri for their dead marriage while admitting he had not invested in it for years, the time he blamed his sons for estrangement while they pleaded for him to simply show up. Each instance follows the same pattern. Kody does something hurtful. Someone reacts to being hurt and Kody blames them for overreacting. The girl games accusation fits perfectly into this framework. Rather than acknowledge that Meri and Janelle might have legitimate grievances, rather than examine his own behavior, Kody categorizes their responses as manipulation. It is textbook gaslighting. You are not actually hurt. You are just playing games. Your feelings are not real. They are tactics. The message is clear. If you disagree with Kody, you are the problem. Fan reactions to this pattern have been merciless. Comment sections overflow with viewers cataloging every instance of Kody's hypocrisy. One particularly sharp observation noted that Kody accuses others of the exact behavior he exhibits daily. Another viewer pointed out that for someone who complains about manipulation, Kody sure does seem to manipulate a lot. The irony of his accusations is not lost on anyone paying attention. What makes this especially frustrating is that Kody has had countless opportunities to course correct. Producers have gently pushed him toward accountability. His wives have explicitly told him what they need. His children have begged him to be present. At every turn, Kody has chosen blame over growth, deflection over reflection, victimhood over accountability. At some point, you have to conclude this is not ignorance, this is a choice. But one wife saw through all of this years before the others found the courage to speak up, and her early exit now looks like prophecy. When Kody Brown announced she was leaving Kody, a lot of people thought she was being dramatic. Some viewers wondered if she would regret her decision. Others questioned whether she was being fair to Kody. Now, with everything that Meri and Janelle have revealed, Christine's exit looks less like drama and more like prescience. She saw what was happening, she recognized the manipulation, and she got out while she still could. Everything Christine said during her departure has now been validated by her former sister wives. She claimed she felt unloved. Meri and Janelle are now saying Kody was incapable of loving anyone except Robyn. She claims she was treated unequally. Meri and Janelle are now detailing exactly how that inequality manifested. She claimed the family dynamic had become toxic. Meri and Janelle are now providing receipts that prove just how toxic it was. The vindication must be sweet for Christine, though she has notably remained relatively quiet while her former sister wives do the heavy lifting in this public battle. She does not need to relitigate her departure. She does not need to pile on. She made her case, she walked away, and now the women who stayed behind are confirming everything she said was true. Sometimes the best response is simply living well, and by all accounts, Christine is doing exactly that. Sources say Christine has distanced herself from the ongoing drama intentionally. She has built a new life, found new love, and created a healthier environment for herself and her children. While Meri and Janelle are still processing their experiences and speaking out about what happened, Christine has moved into the acceptance phase. The Brown family chapter of her life is closed, and she is not interested in reopening it. What particularly strikes observers is the contrast between Christine's post-divorce flourishing and Kody's apparent stagnation. Christine seems happier than she has been in years. She is traveling, she is laughing, she is living. Kody, meanwhile, is still complaining about girl games and blaming women for his problems. If success is the best revenge, Christine is winning decisively. The pattern that Meri and Janelle are now exposing was the pattern Christine identified years ago. Robyn's favoritism, Kody's blame shifting, the systematic devaluation of everyone outside Kody's preferred bubble. Christine tried to sound the alarm. She tried to make Kody see what he was doing. When he refused, she made the only choice that that preserved her sanity. The fallout from these accusations is affecting more than just the adults in this situation, and the children caught in the middle are making their positions clear. The Brown children did not choose to grow up on reality television. They did not choose to have their family dynamics broadcast to millions of viewers. But they are the ones left to process the fallout of their parents' choices, and their responses to the current situation reveal deep and possibly permanent fractures. The next generation of Browns is choosing sides, and Kody is not winning. Multiple Brown children have publicly or privately distanced themselves from their father. The list grows longer with each passing season. Gabe and Garrison have been particularly vocal about their estrangement from Kody. Podden has spoken openly about family dysfunction. Even children who try to maintain neutrality find themselves caught between parents who cannot be in the same room without tension. Sources say holiday gatherings have become logistical nightmares of who can attend without causing a scene. The divide between Robyn's children and the children from Kody's other marriages has become increasingly apparent. Robyn's kids maintained their relationship with Kody throughout the COVID isolation and beyond. The other children watched their father choose one household over theirs repeatedly. That kind of preferential treatment leaves marks, and those marks are visible in how the children relate to each other and to their father now. What strikes observers as particularly heartbreaking is that these children once seemed genuinely close. Early seasons showed Brown kids who loved being part of a big family, who enjoyed having so many siblings, who seemed to embrace the polygamous lifestyle their parents chose. That closeness has been systematically destroyed by adult dysfunction. The kids who used to play together now awkwardly avoid each other at family events when they attend at all. Kody's response to his estranged children has been characteristically deflective. Rather than acknowledge his role in the breakdown, he blames the children for disrespecting him, their mothers for poisoning them against him, and circumstances for keeping him from being present. Never does he consider that children might be responding to patterns they witnessed firsthand. Never does he acknowledge that his choices had consequences. The long-term implications for Brown family relationships are deeply uncertain. Will these siblings reconnect as adults, or will the divisions their parents created persist into the next generation? Will Kody ever repair relationships with children who have written him off? Will Robyn's children eventually recognize the role their mother allegedly played in family dysfunction? These questions do not have easy answers. Speculating on where this family goes from here requires acknowledging that some damage cannot be undone. The Brown family that existed at the start of Sister Wives is gone forever, and what emerges from the wreckage may never resemble what came before. The supreme irony of Kody Brown accusing anyone of playing games is that we have witnessed his games for 16 seasons. We have watched him manipulate, deflect, gaslight, and blame. We have seen him favor one wife while neglecting others, then act wounded when the neglected wives point out the obvious. We have heard him demand respect he refused to earn and loyalty he refused to reciprocate, and now he wants to talk about girl games. The audacity is almost impressive in its brazenness. What Meri and Janelle have revealed strips away whatever pretense remained that Kody was a misunderstood patriarch doing his best with difficult women. The picture they paint is of a man who found in Robyn exactly what he always wanted, someone who would tell him he was right, validate his every grievance, and never challenge him to be better. Whether Robyn consciously cultivated this dynamic or simply gave Kody what he naturally gravitated toward matters less than the outcome. Everyone else got discarded. The question that lingers over Robyn now is whether she will eventually face the same treatment. History suggests Kody's affection is conditional and temporary. He loved Meri once. He loved Christine once. He loved Janelle once. Something changed in each case, and those women went from wives to inconveniences. Robyn may believe she is different, that their connection is special, that she will never find herself on the outside looking in. But the pattern speaks for itself. Can this family reconcile? The honest answer is probably not in any meaningful way. Too much has been said, too much hurt has accumulated, too many children have chosen sides. The Browns might manage surface-level civility for weddings and funerals, might find ways to occupy the same space for brief periods, but the family they once were, or at least the family they presented themselves as being, is gone. There is no going back. What remains is the question of accountability. Will Kody Brown ever look in the mirror and see his role in this disaster? Will he ever acknowledge that 3 wives leaving might indicate a common denominator? Will he ever stop blaming women for his failures and start examining his own choices? Based on everything we have witnessed, the answer appears to be no. Kody seems constitutionally incapable of self-reflection that does not end with him as the victim. The Girl Games accusation will likely be remembered as one of Kody's most tone-deaf moments in a career full of them. A man who manipulated multiple women for decades, accusing them of manipulation. A man who played favorites, accusing others of playing games. A man who rewrote history repeatedly, getting angry that others remember what actually happened. The projection is so obvious it would be funny if it had not caused so much real damage to real people. Do you think Kody will ever take responsibility, or will he continue blaming his wives until the cameras stop rolling and beyond? Drop your thoughts below.